All right, well, let's talk about, wow, that is quite a photo. Conservatives claim that they believe that police should be respected, especially if they're pulling you over for a traffic stop. You should listen to them, you should respect them, you shouldn't give them any lip, you know? But there's this one Republican House candidate who did give a police officer some lip. Let's take a quick look at how that went down in Florida.
The reason for the stop, you were observed going 57 and a 40, and you were on your phone texting while you were doing that. That was at Euclid and Fruitville.
You don't need to point at the officer.
I'm not pointing at you, I'm pointing in the direction where it was.
I'll just call the chief, that's it.
Go right ahead, sir. Can I see your license?
I am, right?
Yes, sir, I do. Can I see your license, registration, insurance, please?
You can do this?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry? I still have a job to do, sir.
Yeah, what's your name?
Officer Beskin, it's gonna be on the citation. Can I see your insurance, registration, and your license, please? Sir, can I have your paperwork, please? 7 years, sir. Can I see your registration, please? You're not gonna give me your registration, sir.
You arrest me?
I'm asking you if you're gonna produce me with your registration. You don't have it on you?
Look, go call the chief. Tell him how rude you just been to me. Play him this video.
Okay.
Then you call Marlon Brown. Then you call the mayor.
Okay.
We're not okay, though. Tell him what to do.
Okay, sir, are you refusing to produce your registration? I'm asking you if you have your registration.
You're making career decisions.
So the man in that video, the person who was stopped and was giving the cop a hard time, is Republican House candidate Martin Hyde. And if you thought that was bad, it actually ended up getting far worse in the exchange. Before we get to that video though, Cenk, do you want to weigh in on what you've seen so far?
Yeah, so there's so many amazing and outrageous things here. Look at the sense of entitlement. So he says, do you know who I am? He's just a House candidate. He's not a congressman. Yeah. First of all, if you were a congressman, it still wouldn't matter.
Yeah, for real.
Right? Yeah. But, and by the way, he's doing terrible in the polling. Now, I would know a thing or two about that. I was a House candidate that didn't do well in the polling. So it would never occur to me, being in the same exact situation as him, it would never occur to me to say to a cop that pulled me over, do you know who I am? But he thinks, how dare you? I'm a Republican, I'm white, I'm a right winger, and I'm a candidate. How dare you pull me over? And he says, you sure you want to do this? And then, I mean, flippant, he said, you're gonna arrest me? And later he takes off his seatbelt, he's reaching for his glove compartment. If a young black guy said to a cop, you're gonna arrest me? And he takes off his seatbelt and reaches for the glove compartment, he's probably dead, okay? And look, the cop did a great job here. Give her credit.
Super calm.
Calm, applied the law. By the way, that's how it should go in every instance, okay?
Yeah.
So I commend her, but in a normal situation with other cops, if that guy was black, they would have kicked the living crap out of him for not listening to, but he assumes, of course they're not gonna touch me. Do you know who I am?
Yeah,
I'm a right winger.
That entitlement's pretty incredible. I also have a theory about the dynamic between this cop and this congressional candidate. But before I get to that theory, why don't we watch the rest of this exchange where, believe it or not, it gets uglier.
Unsure paperwork?
Is it your Russian immigrant status that makes you talk to people like this?
10-4, 10-6.
Call the supervisor.
14 dispatch, can you have my supervisor respond, please?
Yeah. And then we'll see who goes.
Okay. You don't want your paperwork?
6142,
You don't have a warrant.
Sir, you're gonna be issued a citation.
Everything you have to say. I'll wait for the supervisor.
So he asks about her background, as you can see in the video and hear from the video. And the officer is Julia Beskin. She's originally from Latvia. She speaks fluent English and Russian, but it doesn't matter. Like, why are you asking about her immigration status?
Because he's a piece of crap right winger.
He is a piece of crap. I get the sense that it goes beyond getting annoyed at the fact that he's being pulled over for a citation. I don't think he likes the fact that there's a woman in a position of power over him. I got that sense. I'm obviously speculating here, but I've just been in situations like that where I've been treated like that by men, and it just triggered memories for me. You know what I'm saying?
So he brings up her race and that she's an immigrant. We showed you a video a little while back where a black guy who was being hounded by a drunk cop said, "Hey, can you call a white shirt?" Meaning a commanding officer, that they wear white shirts. They're called white shirts. It has nothing to do with his race. And the guy's like, "Did you make it racial?" and beat the crap out of him. But here's a white right winger, so he says he actually makes it racial. No. He would have gotten dragged out of that car, and God knows what would have happened to him if he was black. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. And he knows it so much that he thinks, I can say anything I want to cops. They're never gonna do anything to me. And by the way, what's going on in that police department where that guy was so sure that her superior officers would back him and not her? He kept saying throughout the whole thing, let's see who gets in trouble. Let's see who gets in trouble. Now, because it got so much publicity, they couldn't do anything to the officer because then everybody would have covered it and it would have been obvious. But if it hadn't gotten publicity, I do wonder what would have happened.
Yeah, who knows? I'm glad that there was body cam footage, and I think the body cam footage speaks for itself, right? So if he did try to go after her, I don't think he'd be successful at it. In fact, there was so much backlash to the way he treated her that he later ended up apologizing. But what a clown. What an insanely entitled, fragile clown. You're just being pulled over for a traffic citation. By the way, how do you not have registration on you?
And then, by the way, if he was black and they beat him up or they killed him, they would have said he didn't even have registration. He refused to listen to the officer's commands. He wouldn't listen to her, and he reached for the glove compartment. He didn't have registration. This guy looked really dangerous, right? But he's white, so nobody ever thinks any of that. Guys, I'm tired of right wingers like this who have an assumption that the rest of us should be assaulted and manhandled, but they can get away with anything.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the rule of law not being applied equally. And again, credit to that wonderful officer who did apply it equally. And one more thing, body cam footage. They say, oh, no, we don't want that because it's gonna show cops in a bad light. No, if they're doing the right thing as she was, it shows them in a terrific light. Yeah. See, the body cam footage in that case protected the cop.
All right, a few other facts about this guy because it's relevant. So if you're worried about him going from being a congressional candidate to being a member of Congress, don't worry, he is lagging in the polls. Hyde is currently lagging far behind his primary rival, US Representative Vern Buchanan. As of February 8th, Buchanan holds a 6-to-1 advantage over Hyde among likely Republican voters. Now, when you look at his endorsements, you can see why he's the kind of guy he is. He's gotten endorsements from people like Roger Stone, of course, and QAnon conspiracy theorist and former Trump administration official Michael Flynn. He later, as I mentioned, apologized, not because he actually feels like he did anything wrong, but because there was a considerable amount of backlash, and he said that he's not gonna justify his poor temper on that day or attempt to mitigate it in any way. There will be some who will say, it's not the first time I've acted out, and they'd be right.
So in other words, he does this all the time.
Yeah, he's like, I am a professional piece of crap. It's like, yeah.
But by the way, in a Republican primary, he just increased his chances of winning.
I don't think so.
No, look, man, he's got name recognition he probably didn't have before. And for right wingers, you have to understand they think differently than us. They will not perceive that as standing up to a cop and how dare he. They will perceive that as fighting for freedom. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.